So there's another type of intermolecular force that exists between the molecules, that is ion induced dipole. So what is ion induced dipole? It means that if we have one ion and if we have one molecule with us, right? So let's just take example of I2. So we don't have dipole in I2 because it is a di molecule, right? It exists in means say same type of atoms combined together and form a di molecule for stability, right? So when we place an ion just negatively charged uh, with this I2 molecule, what happens? So this non-polar molecules, it can be polarized in the presence of ion near it. Okay, it become induced dipole because of the this negative charge. Partial positive charge develop on one end of that non-polar molecule, and because of this the partial negative charge develop on the another pole. Okay, so that is how we used to get polarize it. So now we have a dipole in I2 molecules, that is I bond I, right? Second is dipole induced dipole. So when a non-polar molecule, uh, we know this thing that a non-polar molecule don't have poles. No positive pole, no negative pole, no pole is there. So non-polar molecules may be polarized by the presence of a polar molecule or a dipole. If we place a dipole in near to the non-polar molecule, then what will happen? It just become a dipole. Okay, so thereby making it an induced dipole. So this is a type of induced dipole where we are forming a dipole from a known polar atom, right? So the interaction between them are called the dipole induced dipole because here we are inducing the dipole, we are making a dipole. It's not a permanent dipole. Earlier it was a known polar, right? And we are making a dipole, okay, by putting it near to the dipole. So for example, a noble gas get polarized in the presence of a polar molecule, right? Next force is dispersion force or London force, right? So at any instance of time, the electron cloud of the molecule may be distorted so that an instantaneous dipole or momentary dipole, that is dipole or short while dipole, that is short while dipole means it does not become the permanent dipole, it will be a short dipole, a temporary dipole, right? So its temporary dipole is produced in which one part of the molecule is slightly more positive than the rest. So what will happen when we are when we are making a dipole, what will happen? One part of that molecule is slightly become more negative than the rest of it. Okay, so then the momentary dipole induced pole in the nearby molecule. These are then attached by each other. So the force of attraction between the induced momentary dipoles are called London force or dispersal force, right? For example, if we are taking a helium atom and another helium atom, what is happening? Nucleus is at the center, right? And we know this thing, if we have positive part or nucleus in the center, so electrons surround it, because electron revolves around the nucleus in a particular orbital. Or we just have studied Vesper theory and VBT. So we they just clearly stated that and MOT, that this is a like of orbital is an electron wave where the probability of finding electron is maximum. So if what happened now, if we, at instance this is a dipole, this is a non-polar compound actually, okay, because there is no pole, positive part at the center and negative parts around it. But what will happen when the momentary dipole form, and if we put together these helium atom, what will happen? Because of the negative charge, the positive part will shift towards the negative. Okay, it means that the small area of that atom, of that molecule, now if we are producing dipoles now, so in this the small area is positive and it contains a large amount of negative charge. Same with that, because of this partial positive charge, where there is the positive charge is maximum, the partial positive charge develop, and where is the negative charge, the negative partial negative charge develop. And when we put together all these things, so this is a momentary. When we just separate both of them, what will happen? They just come to their original position. Nucleus come into the center and electron it surrounds it. Okay, so that is a momentary dipole. Okay, because this is this these type of force, London force or dispersion force, this is not a permanent type of force. This is just for an instant. This is a temporary. Okay, that is why we used to call it the momentary dipole. Next, we'll talk about the thermal energy. What is thermal energy? So, thermal energy is the energy of a body arising from the motion of its atom or molecules. Means when the atoms and molecules like move, okay, so the thermal energy release. So, it is directly proportional to the temperature of the substance. Okay, means if we talk about the temperature of the substance, the thermal energy is directly proportional. So thermal energy is directly proportional to the temperature of the substance. So it is the measure of average kinetic energy. We know this thing that every moving object possesses some kinetic energy. So it is the measure of kinetic energy of the particle of the matter and is thus responsible for the movement of the particle. And this movement of particle is known as thermal motion. So whenever the atoms and molecules move, so they possess some kinetic energy that is directly proportional to its temperature. Okay, and this movement of particle is known as the thermal motion. So now we'll talk about the intermolecular force and the thermal energy, how this thermal interaction and the intermolecular forces are related. So there is a relation between the interaction force and the thermal energy. So we know this thing that thermal energy of a molecule tend to keep them apart, because if thermal energy is there, it means that atoms and molecules are in motion, and because of that they just keep apart. Okay, so because of that the three states of matter result in balance. So there is intermolecular force and the thermal energy of the molecules. If we say that the matter exists in different forms, so that is due to the thermal energy and the intermolecular force. When a molecule interaction is weak, it means that the molecules or atoms are apart from each other, that is in gaseous state. If the intermolecular force is strong and the lower is the thermal energy, then liquid state exists. And in the third state, what will happen? The intermolecular force is the strongest and the thermal energy is least, then it is solid. So thermal energy and this intermolecular force of attraction are inversely proportional to each other. If one decreases, second one increases. If one increases, that second one decreases. Okay, if you keep on increasing the thermal energy, what will happen? The solid will convert into liquid and liquid to gas. And if you just decrease the thermal energy and increase the intermolecular force, what will happen? It will change from gas to liquid to solid. Okay, so this thing we have learned that the existence of three state of matter, this is due to the thermal energy and the intermolecular forces. Okay, now we'll talk about the gaseous state. We are familiar with this with the gaseous state because this is the simplest state of matter. Throughout of our life, we used to like see air, mixture of air. We can't feel air. We can't see air, but we can feel it. Okay, means some molecule is there which used to strike our body, to our body. Okay, so in our atmosphere we have so many layers of gases. So that is known as troposphere, which is held to the surface of the earth by the gravity of force. Because we know this thing that earth has its own atmosphere, and this atmosphere is attracted by the earth towards itself. That is known as the gravitational force. So the thin layer of atmosphere is vital to our life. It shields us from harmful radiations and contains dioxygen, dinitrogen, carbon dioxide, and vapor. We know water vapor. We know this thing that the layer atmosphere is protect us from the harmful radiation. This layer filters the solar radiation before it reaches to the earth. Okay, so we know this thing that the behavior of the substance existence in the gaseous state under normal condition and pressure. If we have under normal condition, we have normal condition and normal pressure, this gases can exist in that state. But if we change the temperature, if we lower the temperature or increase the temperature, that will lead to the change in the state. Okay, we can just if we reduce the temperature and increase the pressure, so we can liquefy. That is how we have LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. So if we decrease the temperature and increase the pressure, the gas get liquefied. Okay, so we know this thing very well, and there is a specific characteristics or physical characteristics that gases state have. First is gases are highly compressible. Gases exert pressure equally in all direction. Gases have much lower density than the solids and liquid. The volume and the shape of the gases are not fixed. These assumes volume and shape of the containers. Gases mix evenly and completely in all proportion without any mechanical aid. So, in simplicity of the gases, due to the fact that the force of interaction between the molecule is negligible, there is no force of attraction between the gases molecules. That is why they are free to move. Okay, so their behavior is governed by the same law. We know that this thing, that the law of relationship between the measurable properties of the gases. Some properties like pressure, volume, temperature and mass are very important, because the relationship between the variable described of the state independence of these variable led to the formulation of gases law, right? So there are the means special characteristics that makes these gases state a special state. It has its own properties, has its own existence, and intermolecular force is inversely proportional to the thermal energy. We came to know from this, right?